Auspicious greetings. It's good to see everyone. Today, we're going to continue with our discussion on the way of treating guests, especially nowadays, especially during holiday seasons. We always have guests, visitors visiting from different places, and including our families consider guests like coming to visit us in a way. So we will take this opportunity to learn more about the different ways in how we embrace and receive the guests like coming to our home. So before we start, we will do a short meditation to gather our thoughts, put aside whatever that we haven't done, just bring our attention to the present. If you are sitting on a chair, you can make sure that both feet is flat on the floor. And then you can remove your glasses if you feel more comfortable. Let us just relax our hands on our lap. Relax our shoulders. You can go ahead and close your eyes if you feel comfortable with your eyes fully closed. If not, you can look downward 45 degrees in front of you. Let us just give ourselves a moment to bring our attention to each breath that we take. Now let us go ahead and take in 3 deep breaths. Now let us gently wrap our palms together. Let us cover our palms on our eyes, top of our head, above our ears, the back of our neck. Let us gently wrap our palms together again. Gently massage our shoulders, arms all the way to our fingers and wrists. Okay. You can also massage our back. Okay. So before we continue with what we're going to discuss today, let us have a quick recap of what we have discussed last week. we talk about ways to how to view people. So the way we view others can vary significantly from person to person and can be influenced by various factors. And we talk about do not view others as lowly because of what they do, occupation-wise, and do not view others as old because of one's age. Okay, and do not view others as improvised because of their material poverty, and do not view others as insignificant because of their small achievements. These are the 4 points that Purple Master reminded us about, like when we how we view others, try not to be judgmental in these 4 aspects. Okay, because sometimes it goes beyond what a person do for life. It goes beyond and the age that we're in. It goes beyond the things, material things that we have. It's more of like spiritual and innate capabilities that matters. Of course, like lastly, is about achievements, because sometimes achievements in life, it cannot be measured. Like for example, ethics, morality, the things that we do, one has achieved beyond the metrics, the matrix can how to put it, measure. It is beyond measurable. And so these are therefore reminders for us when we interact with others, not to judge a person by the cover in a way. Okay, so and today we're going to look at the way of treating guests. Okay, so treating guests well is an essential aspect of hospitality, whether we are hosting friends, families, or visitors in a professional settings, or even like at home. Okay, so and then I remember this word. Okay, sometimes we just say, "Be my guest." Okay. Everything that we have, uh, people might ask us, "Oh, can I use this? Or can I take this? Can I eat this?" Sometimes we just try to be friendly, and then we say, "Be my guest." Okay, so this is a common term that we always say, but it's a reflection of whether we truly meant what we say. Okay, so the action, that how we treat and receive guests, visitors, even family members. Okay, and sometimes whenever we have like parties, when we have open house, when we have family coming over, sometimes the preparation give stress to the host sometimes. And you have to prepare the rooms, the food, uh, tea, everything. Okay, that it needs a lot of like efforts in putting in. And today we're going to look at the 4 points that Verbal Master reminded us. The first one is make guests who are friends feel at home. Okay, so just like the word "be my guest," sometimes that we would just say it without really meant it. Again, this is a good reminder that when we receive guests, we should be hospitable and receive them with enthusiasm. Okay, so it is not just a word that we say, but making people, visitors and families visiting the guests really feel at home. Okay, and a host should pay attention to the friend's needs and check if they need anything, especially when we have people or friends coming over to stay at night. And that's also a reminder that when our friends or families come in with the luggages, bags, we show them the room, okay, and then we still need to give them some time to slowly unpack, slowly feel their way around, feel comfortable in the space that they are in. Okay, so it's just like what we do at the temple. Okay, even though you might be coming like once a week. Okay, but we try our best to make you feel at home. Yeah. So whether it is in the main shrine or even here, you can be my guest. you can help yourself with water or coffee or tea, or even like in the main shrine, everywhere you can, you want to sit on the side benches or on the red cushions, you can feel whichever that you feel comfortable in sitting. Okay, and sometimes some of us might feel comfortable sitting with our legs crossed. Then you can sit on the cushion, the lower cushion, and then if you feel that you want to sit on a chair, okay, then you can do so. Okay, just trying to make a person feel at home instead of like feeling a little bit like nervous, like should I do this? Should I not do this? But just relax, and then always good to ask and say, if you're not sure, even when we visit yeah, your parents' home or a friend's home, that we are so close, but sometimes out of respect, we still ask, see, if I can turn on the TV, for example. Yeah, so there are things, many things that we might considerate, but here we mainly focusing on what we can do to make others feel at home. So, and sometimes like when you come to the temple, you might see us doing this. This is a lotus gesture. It represents, lotus. It represents like our life here. Sometimes it could be struggles, ups and downs, but those are considered like the nutrients for us to grow stronger in life. The same goes to lotus. When it grows out of the muddy water, when a lotus bloom, it doesn't have any mud on it. It doesn't smell like mud. Okay. So sometimes in short, we always say no mud, no lotus in a way. So lotus represents a purity and a reminder of our life here. We need the mud. Doesn't mean that we need a lot of suffering, but the mud is a nutrient. Challenges in life, those are all the nutrients. The opportunities for us to reflect, for us the opportunities for us to grow stronger out of the challenges that we face every day, every week, every month, every year. Okay, so going back to the lotus mudra, sometimes when you see us like wave at you like that, is trying to make you feel at home. Okay, this is a welcoming gesture. Okay, and then lotus reminds us of purity. So it's also one way for us to welcome everyone. Okay, and then I have included this like a short video that we have a drone flying, like when we have the back in October when we have our BLIA annual general meeting in FoGuangHuB in Taiwan. You can see like people coming together from so many different countries, and then everyone feel at home, and everyone felt at home because FoGuangHuB, even though is our headquarters is huge, but we open our doors to so many different people, people coming from different background, different countries, and then we have 8 different languages translating at the same time during the conference. It's because out of respect and of course that we try to make everyone feel at home. Okay, so this is the first point that Verbal Master would like us to remember. When we receive guests, we try our best to make everyone feel at home. Do you recognize any of the flags? Okay, yeah. So yeah, even like the venerables, we have those from the Tibetan tradition, the Theravadan tradition, and for ourselves, we are part of the Mahayana tradition. So we all come together to find a common ground in our practices. Okay, so this is just something to share with everyone, how we try our best to make everyone feel at home. Okay. And then the second point that Verbal Master shared with us is assist guests who have problems by solving the difficulties. Okay, so to further elaborate, sometimes like people inevitably come across difficulties. Okay, when we are not at home, we always rely on friends. When we're at home, when we're younger, we always rely on our parents. But as we grow older, when we are away from home, we always rely on our friends to give us support. Okay. And of course, that when we have guests who are in trouble, like anyone visiting, our friends, even our business associate, coworkers, even supervisors from our work, or even someone that we know, we should show them genuine care. Okay, so to further elaborate on this point, why Verbal Master want to remind us to assist guests who have problems by solving their difficulties, it is because he himself, let me share with you this story first. When Verbal Master Xing Yun, when he was like 21 years old, he traveled from China to Taiwan on a boat. Okay, when he was in Taiwan, he didn't know anyone. Okay, he had difficulties in finding a place to stay. Okay, it was because of the tension between Taiwan and China back then. So Taiwanese, they're afraid to receive anyone from China to come and stay with them. So at some point, even Buddhist temples, they are afraid of like receiving from a master who is from China to come and stay at the temple, except for one temple that is in Taoyuan, northern of Taiwan. It's called Yuanguangchan Monastery. Okay, verbal Miao, the elder, the abbot of the temple. That was back in 1949, some time ago. So he was very kind enough to accept and receive Verbal Master to stay in the temple. Okay, risking everything that like being risking the temple ground of like risking his own life with the possibility of being captured by the government. Okay, because you're kind of like back then someone from China is considered like fugitive, you know. It's not allowed. Okay, but this venerable in Zhongli, in this Chan monastery, is willing to risk everything to give a space for Verbal Master to stay at the temple. Okay, so in return, Verbal Master he worked very hard to help up the temple in many ways. So during that time, Verbal Master had nothing. Okay, even the only rope that he had, he also shared with those who are in need. Okay, so he only has like the other rope that he has, the inner rope that he has. Okay, in that situation where he had nothing, not a single penny in his pocket, no place to stay. Imagine like this, like do you smell smoke? Okay, sorry. Is someone smoking? I think it's someone smoking. Mm. Can we close the door? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so during that time, Verbal Master was in this situation of like very tough and difficulties. But this venerable, he was like 70 plus years old. He's a very senior abbot during that time. Is willing to receive Verbal Master and stay at the temple. So giving him a roof, a place to stay, something to eat. So that is the reason why Verbal Master, until his very last breath, he always reminded us as the disciples, always try to help those who are really in need. Okay, no matter what consequences, we still balance that, but then we try our best to help those are in difficulties, to provide at least a place to stay, something to eat, some warmth. Okay, so another story that reminds us of that is also like back in during the Buddha's time, where there was a blind monk. Okay, one day he was like walking to Jetavana monastery in Sarvasti, where this blind monk tried to find a place to stay. Okay, even like 2,600 years ago, there's no like actual temple. It's just like basically a small platform where everyone can get together, sharing the food and also like listening to the Dharma. And here comes this blind monk requesting for him to be with the Sangha. And of course, other monks are a little bit reluctant, is because this monk was blind, cannot see. So they are concerned because he would need extra care, extra attention, or extra help to help him with like walking around the premises, getting food, taking a bath, or whatever that is needed. Okay, but then the Buddha reminded everyone that even though he cannot see, but we still need to accept him to the Sangha, because this is what he needed most at this time. Okay, so again, that goes back to this second point, that we try to assist guests who have problems by solving their difficulties. Okay, if we have the capabilities and ability to help others, okay, we always try to help, especially like visitors, or even like families, friends, the person that we know. They might have many things, or they might have the status, but because of certain reasons, certain condition, because of like getting laid off or anything that happened, the sudden change. Okay, if a person, our friend, needed help, we always try to assist them in any ways that we can. Okay, so this is the second point that Verbal Master had pointed out. And then for the third point, that Verbal Master reminded us is offer joy and hope to guests who are just dropping by. So what does it mean? Okay, some people visit without any special purposes. Okay, so this some people, it could be someone referring to someone that we know so well, especially those who we know so well, that they might just ta-da, appear in front of the door and say, hi, surprise. Especially our close friends, okay, or even our families. Sometimes people might just visit us without any special occasion and just pop up more. And then we might be in the middle of somewhere, or in the middle of like going out, or in the middle of like getting ready for something. And then here comes visitors. So what should we do? Okay, we still need to offer them joy. Okay, receiving them. Okay, they just drop by in a spur of the moment without any prior notice, without a phone call, without an email, or without any notice. Okay. However, we should treat them well, okay, giving them joy and satisfaction, so they will feel the warmth of human sentiments and bring hope for life. Okay, so sometimes, even like at the temple, we always have like visitors and guests, and then sometimes like devotees, or sometimes like people that we know. Of course, like the temple setting is a little bit slightly different than your home. Okay, that's still slightly different because we are open to everyone. Okay, even though we have our Monday closed, but then sometimes we still have people ringing the doorbell while we are halfway mopping the floor. It's like, okay. Yeah, or even like, doing some cleaning, or because Monday is the only time where we don't have any traffic, we don't have people walking around, and we can focus on doing whatever that is needed to be done. Okay, but then if anyone were to, especially like coming from out of state, they might not be aware of like, oh, this is day off or it's not open, they might not be aware of it. Or it could be that is just the only time slot that they have in San Diego. Okay. So these are all the different possibilities, but we always, whenever we can, so we always just open the door and let people in and offer joy. Okay. But imagine at home, if you were to have family members or close friends just pop up without notice, ding dong, what is your usual reaction? What is your usual reaction? So, okay, start tidying up, putting stuff away. Okay, so this is the question that we ask ourselves when we have surprises at home. Okay, do we still offer them joy? Do we still receive them with that warm-hearted, with sentiments and, oh, come, have a seat, have some tea or have some coffee, have some cookies. Okay, so now let us look at Verbal Master himself. Okay, so based on when he was around, especially when we just started FoGuangHuB, establishing the temple slowly. Whenever we have visitors, whenever we have guests, okay, and then the first question that he always asks is, have you taken your meal? Okay, it is because as part of our culture, to always make sure that you have something in your stomach. It's just like when we see each other here. What is the question that we usually ask? How are you? Yeah, because this is the culture here. We always ask, how are you? Okay, and then if you're not not feeling so well, so how should we reply? So we usually say, okay, the start of the day, we'll see how it goes. Or we just say, fine, thank you, how are you? Okay. But then in Asian countries, it's part of our culture to ask each other, oh, have you taken your meal? Have you taken your dinner or lunch, especially when you visit a place, when you come to a friend's home? Okay, we always ask, like, how are you? Would you like to have a drink? That similarities. Okay, so for Bob Master, back then, whenever he knew that someone hasn't had something, haven't had a meal, he always just go to the kitchen and then start cooking. Whether it is the noodle soup, fried noodles, he always can do it like within minutes. Just start the gas and start stir frying, or even have the water boiling and then very fast. Okay, because he always tried to provide care and comfort to anyone that visits, or even like without any notice. Okay, so this was the question, and this is the teachings that he set this model for us to follow. Always making sure that if we see anyone besides asking how are you, if it is like during the mealtime, we always ask, would you like to join us for lunch, or would you like to join us for dinner? Would you like to join us for breakfast? Okay, I remember there was one time that David came to early in the morning because we planned to go to MCRD. I'm not sure if you still remember. One of us asked, have you taken your breakfast? And he said, okay, not yet. And then you were offered a bagel. Because this is what we are trained. Okay, so again, so in the future, when you feel that you don't have any other restaurants to go to, you can always ring the bell. We will ask you, have you taken your meal? Yeah, because this is part of our practice, okay, to always welcome and give everyone comfort and receiving guests and visitors. like to make themselves feel at home. Okay, so not only that, but the temples around the world, like all the FoGuangHuB temples that we have, we always have this practice. Just try to receive guests wholeheartedly. Okay, making sure that you're not thirsty, you're not hungry. Yeah. So that again is to offer joy and hope to guests who are just dropping by, okay, or visiting. Okay. And then the last one is in treating guests in high positions, especially like those from government departments or whatever. We should conduct ourselves appropriately without being arrogant or self-effacing. Thank you. Effacing. Okay. While we treat guests with respect and courtesy, there's still a clear line between host and guests. The sign rules of hosts and guests apply equally regardless of how important a person is. So when we are visiting, even though this is a place where we feel familiar, we always remind ourselves that we are a guest and visiting. And then in return, like if we change our position, if we are hosting, of course, like we just try to be extra careful and respectful to those not only like high position, but like when we receive venerables from different tradition, okay, we always remind ourselves to be mindful of the different practices that we embrace. Like for example, if we were to have a service together when we have the Theravadan monks coming to join us, because we know as part of their precepts they uphold is to have lunch before noon, before 12 noon. So this is known like since the Buddha's time. So out of respect, we should remind ourselves to be respectful of that practice. So when we have meals, we just try to make sure that we have it before 12 noon. Okay. So this is also how we received guests, not only like high position, but from different tradition, different practices. Okay. And then for verbal master, I remember there was one time when he was in China, in a temple, he was about to receive government officials from within the Nanjing is where the temple is. So the government officials were visiting the verbal master, and during that time it was winter. Okay, as you know, when we say hi to each other, what is the first gesture that we usually do? Yes, fist bump. Yeah. So even though like you know the government officials like they will join your palms, but they also like we shake hands too. So verbal master is very into the details that you know during winter his hands is always cold because of his old age. The blood circulation is not so good. So he requested for warm towel. Okay, not only to himself, okay, but also to the guest. Yeah, and why to himself is that he just want to make sure that when he shake others' hand, his hands are warm, not cold, so that people can feel the warmth. So with that in mind, that not only that we are being respectful and be mindful of the different positions, different backgrounds, different practices, but verbal master was so detailed that he always think of what others might receive it, might perceive it. So even as small as the hand gesture, shaking hands, he warmed his own hand so that when he shakes with others, people feel the warmth. Can you imagine that if your hand is cold and you shake others' hand, how would others feel? Yeah.
Just told her that.
Yeah, because sometimes like people will have a different interpretation. Like for example, if Purple Monster's hand is cold, then they might think that, oh, are you feeling okay? Your hands are so cold. Yeah, that would be one will have other concern. Okay, but then Purple Monster always think for others' behalf and not to let others worry about him. So he was like being mindful of all the details, how our others feel, how others perceive. He doesn't want to burden others. He doesn't want to let others feel uncomfortable or like have questions and so on and so forth. Okay, and not only that, like one thing that I would like to share with everyone is that in Verbal Master's eye, no matter who he received, even though one is of high position or even lower position, to him, everyone's equal. It's just like the Buddha. And then we know that towards his senior years, he always writes the one stroke calligraphy. He will write the Dharma using one stroke, just like that. Even though his eyes cannot see, his hands was shaking all the time. But he always think of sharing the Dharma through calligraphy because that is the only thing that he can do. Because he was on a wheelchair, he cannot do any physical activities or anything to physically help others. But what he can do in return for others is through the sharing of the Dharma. And he knew that he won't be able to talk to every individual who come and visit him. In return, he write wishes, well wishes to everyone. And then everyone will have something different, unique. You might not be able to recognize the character, but the one that is laying on the floor or even on the wall, those are all uniquely written blessing for everyone. This is how he take care of every single guest, visitors, friends, everyone. Yeah. So no matter who you are, no matter what you do, in his eyes is everyone is equal, and then he treat everyone equally in sharing the Dharma. Yeah. So to conclude, what I would like to share with everyone, and including Verbal Master's article, is a reminder for ourselves that as a good host, we must know how to treat guests appropriately. So there are 4 points that let us just remind ourselves is make guests who are friends feel at home, just no matter what time of the day. Assist guests who have problems by solving their difficulties. Offer joy and hope to guests who are just dropping by. And in treating guests in high position, we should conduct ourselves appropriately without being arrogant or self-efficacy. I pronounced correctly, yeah? Okay, so before we, let me just stop sharing for now. Okay, so that is what I would like to share with everyone today. Anyone have any questions or comments? Yes.
Just a comment, but I feel like you were saying that it seems like a lot of these practices are very cultural. So, for example, I found in the US, it's considered rude to just pop by someone's house. Like people like to have some notice, some preparation. But in India, for example, it's very normal to have people just come in and it's not really considered rude. I mean, it would be rude to not welcome them and make time, stop everything gently. feels very, I think it's culturally different in different places.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't know that here you won't be dropping in to someone's
I
home.
feel like now here you don't even call someone. Now it's like you have to text them.
Oh, really?
You call them, it's considered rude.
So
This has changed a bit because I know that some like my grandparents, they say that it would be people drop by all the time, never say a word, just be there, and they were lamenting how it had to change.
Right.
And,
yeah, this is new to me. Yeah, it is because like usually I know that especially those who are very, very close, that is a usual case where they just pop up. Take it for granted. It's like we're close friends. We're just saying, can I just come?
Now, even then they would message you or they would say, oh, I'm coming by so that you know.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's changing fast.
Yes, Elaine.
Well, I think you're right. It can be cultural because I have a kind of new young friend, and he was in the habit of just dropping by. He's from Arkansas, and he's just sweet and wonderful, and nobody just drops by where I live. First of all, you can't get in the gate, and the next, who knows what time of day it is? I'm retired, and I'm not necessarily in a good condition to greet anybody, regardless of who it is.
Yes,
sometimes it's an expectation, but after I moved, did not go to my parents' house without letting them know, asking them if it was okay. Absolutely not. And never have people coming over. So my life is, people don't just drop by and see. I don't know, but part of it, I think, it's cultural.
Yeah.
It's different. Yeah.
So it is part of like cultural in a way that people sometimes drop by or not drop by with or without notice.
Yeah, I know. When somebody does actually show up, I have one really good friend. But whenever he comes over, I always say, he stands up, come on in, sit down. You want some water or something.
Okay, so next time, if I were to visit any of you, I will make sure to give you a notice. No surprises. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, is there anything that is unusual or it never happened here? Any of the the examples that I shared earlier, like any comments or
Traditionally, I'm from Russia, so like when you come to work with Russia, you come to every coworker and shake their hand. Yeah, I didn't notice. I think it's like people surprised them into it.
So in Russia, you shake everyone's.
Yeah, you come to work, you say, no. I'm not making of it. I realized I don't do it. Yeah, but that was nice. Yeah, just a comment.
Has this changed during the pandemic?
I wasn't in Russia during the pandemic.
Yeah. Sometimes like when it comes to culture, we're so used to it, we grew up with it. Sometimes we don't really notice it until something changed. Only then it's like, well, nobody's doing that.
And one more thing I noticed is that in India anyway, when people say like, how are you? You can spend 5 minutes to say, how's your mom? How's your dad? How's your grandfather? How's your grandmother? How's your, like they go through the whole list of family because it's so collective. It's It's not like so individualistic.
Yeah.
So here I feel like it's like, how are you? Fine, how are you? And that's it. But there, it's like they think about the whole everyone in your house, everyone feeling.
Yeah. So Saibas was sharing that in India, like usually it's part of a tradition, not just how are you, but like referring to how's your father, mother, parents, or was individuals at home. Just name all the family members one by one. Yeah. And that reminds me that I sometimes like when I see you, I might just say, oh, please send my regards to so and so. And how's like I didn't know I have that habit. Whenever I see Saiba, I ask, oh, how's after? I would just ask like, how's Marianne, for example. Yeah, because this is again the culture that I grew up with. Yes, Danny. Yes,
Yeah,
Danny.
this is a very timely subject and a good talk because we're on Thanksgiving weekend and lots of people are visiting relatives, mostly relatives and, maybe friends. But point is, one thing that wasn't mentioned, and there's always articles about this, is don't talk politics, because it's almost a taboo subject unless everybody's on the same page or has the same opinion. But yeah, there's certain things that you got to stay away from. The other one is religion. They say don't talk religion, but I think it would be safe to do that if we're all Buddhists, and we're all together. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Danny. Thank you. Yeah. So is there any areas that we haven't covered and it could be just here, especially here? Yes.
I was thinking something when I was teaching up at UCSD. There were so many differences in expectations of the way people would greet each other. And some of my students would come to me and they'd be kind of perplexed and maybe a bit hurt, They say, well, doctor to somebody, well, how are you? Well, I'm okay, fine. And they talk a little bit and they said, well, listen, let's get together. Well, I'll see you, we'll get together and do something. They never got together with anybody. Nobody ever called them. Nobody ever acknowledged that they had ever met them. And I said, welcome to Southern California. I mean, I'm not trying to sound negative or judgmental, but it hurt them. They didn't understand why people would be, superficially be friendly. But then maybe beyond that, and, could be also they were a long way from home, these young people. And I just remember that there was one other big thing when I was teaching at adult education. I met many different people, different cultures that I had no idea. And I'd always teach my students the lessons about, oh, this is how we are in the United States. Hello, nice to meet you. How are you? We'll shake your hand. The first time I ever stuck my hand out to an old Muslim, he almost died in his chair because he was horrified.
Oh, wow.
I am a white woman, kind of like, they didn't think much of us, quite honestly. But he comes from religion, just don't touch each other at all. And I had put my hand up towards him. I really did. I really thought it was going to fall in his chair.
Yeah.
And so it was what an awakening to me, things you expect.
Yes.
So we finally changed the lesson. It was even that way in the book, everywhere you go, you get.
Yes.
And I finally would say, figure out a graceful way. Please don't be offended. Don't be offended, but you don't have to shake anybody's hand. So, the things we take for granted because it's what we're used to.
Yes, shaking hands. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, and then, like if anything that I do or I say, if it is not part of the culture here, let me know. Everything? Uh-oh.
I'm horrified you never been back.
Yes, yeah, something to share.
Sometimes you can almost use another one of these and kind of be a guest, especially if it's a culture that I'm not familiar with. I've been to many places where that how are you doing turns into how are so and so doing turns into would you like some tea, and then before you know it, I'm having dinner. I'm like, I was only saying hi. There's a lot of this kind of on the guest side too that compatibility.
Yeah, true. And sometimes, like, if we were to offer you, like, would you like to have some tea after saying how are you and getting to know that you're fine, and then if you have any other plans, then you can just say, oh yeah, I already had some tea earlier, for example, or I already had meal. I'm doing okay. Then we know, okay, yeah, you're fine. We won't be forcing you. You have to drink this or eat something. Yeah. But then again, there's always like steps to come down or to go up. Yeah. But again, like when it comes to this topic, it involves a lot of like the culture aspects. Yeah, even like not only visitors or guests, like any of the volunteers who come and help out at the temple, we always make sure that you have some snacks or something to drink in between of your volunteering time. Yeah, because this is part of our practice to, you know, the volunteers have done so much for the temple. It is just the list that we can give back to them is to make them feel okay during maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours of helping. At least they're not feeling thirsty or not feeling hungry in between. Yeah, so if you were to come and volunteer at the temple, if you were given snacks, if you don't feel like eating, just let me know. It's always okay to just say, I'm fine, I'm okay. Yeah, but this is part of our culture, our practice, to always try to be mindful and be a courtesy of our volunteers. Yeah. Okay, so anyone would like to share? Okay, if not, let me share my slides again. Next week, we're going to continue by reading the article on the major problem of being humans. This sounds serious, yeah? But we will see what Verbal Master has to share on this topic here. Okay, and then for those of you who are in San Diego, I would like to share this again. December 4th, a Monday, 6:30 in the evening, we're going to have a lecture on the role of Buddhist art at San Diego Central Library. Okay, is in downtown. The Central Library itself, they have a parking garage that they can validate for 2 hours. So you just park your car, find parking space in the parking garage. Make sure you have your parking ticket with you, and they will have a machine for you to validate the ticket at the lobby, the first floor. Okay, and then the lecture will be somewhere up. I'm not sure which floor. I will need to find out. But there's a link I will share with you. Central Library is hoping that for those who would like to come can RSVP, because they're going to prepare some cookies, tea for everyone who attend the lecture. Okay, and Verbal Manguang is going to fly all the way from Dallas to San Diego. Yeah, so I hope every one of you who are here in San Diego can attend this lecture. Okay, so now let us join our palms as we dedicate merit. Okay. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May Shen, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our humility and gratitude give rise to great vows. I hope everyone had a very pleasant Thanksgiving, time with the families and friends. And I'll see you next week.